Welcome to a new Siemens Connected Home training video. This video is going to be talking about a few advanced settings and things that you need to know to basically set up your system. So if I take the mobile application, you see that I have here an app and basically like a house. And there's a few things I want to show you in there. So you see that in the living room, I have two radiators. There's a really cool functionality that you have here with that little sign that allow you to set a schedule or actually set a temperature set point for the two devices at the same time. So you see here the radiator 1 and radiator 2. Basically, if I want to add a schedule, I can tell that this schedule is for every working day. And basically, I'm gonna say, look, I leave for work at 8. So I want that at 8, the temperature goes down to 16 degrees. And then I get back from work at 6 p.m. done. And then I want it to be 21 degrees. I put save. And now I have this schedule that is acting for the two devices at the same time. So that's a really cool functionality. Another one is that you can set favorite devices. You see here on top that you have all the different rooms, and then you have a little extra one that says favorite. And for now I don't have any favorite, but what I can show you is that you basically go in the detail of one device, you click on that little star, and let's put it also for that second device. Click on that little star, and now you see that in the favorite I have these two devices. So, it might be useful for you to play around with the different devices that you want to work with. So a third functionality or advanced functionality I want to talk about is the firmware update. Let's say that I go in the basement and I have my boiler receiver here. I click on it, and then if I go into settings, I see that the firmware version here at the very bottom is the latest version. So I'm totally good with that, no problem. If I go into my radiator valves, and I do the same, I basically go into the settings, I see the firmware version. You see here that I can click to update. So if I do that, it will basically take a bit of time, and I will then have the latest firmware installed on my device. And it's really important to always keep your devices up to date and make sure that you have the latest firmware. So you see that you have a little percentage. It does take a bit of time because Zigbee is not as fast as Wi-Fi to transfer data. On the other side, it allows you to have a lot of devices connected to one network. But the downside is that when it comes to transferring a lot of data, it takes more time than Wi-Fi. Okay, so here you will need to wait a bit of time, and then the radiator will then have the latest firmware version. Let's talk about a fourth advanced setting. So if I go into the hamburger menu here on top and I go into the home settings, you see here that you have something that is called heat request. And below it, it says change heating threshold. If I click on that one, I have a percentage. Here was on 30%, but by default, it's on 15%. And what this heat request percentage means is that for every radiator valve, you need to have a percentage of openness of the valve that defines if the radiator valve is open or closed. And here I define it to 15%, meaning that if the radiator valve is open to 0% up to 14%, the system will consider that the valve is closed. If it goes from 15 to 100% open, then the system will consider that the valve is open. So depending on which valve you have and what sensitivity of the system you want to have, you can play with this heating threshold and define if the system needs to be more sensitive or less sensitive. The last thing I want to talk about is basically in the settings, you can also change the default room. Okay, so that would be the room that is displayed the very first time you open the app. So today, I don't have anything set as default room, but I can say living room, for instance. And here I define living room, and this means that whenever I will be opening my app, the living room will be the default room displayed. I can also decide to have an overview or the favorite, as you can see, but here I put overview, and this means that basically the overview is this page here. So now when I will be opening my app, I will have this overview page that is displayed at first, and then I can go, for instance, in the kitchen, and then you have the kitchen page. That's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video.